Hey team, I'm just finishing up a workout and I thought I'd film for you a quick 5-10 minute routine using the tennis ball. So a tennis ball is a great way to do a little bit of personal myofascial release on certain areas of the body that might get tight or sore. So I'm going to walk you through 5 places where I commonly use the tennis ball to get into. So the first one is inside the very arches of my feet. So if you've been doing lots of running, standing on your feet, making sure that you're rolling through the bottom muscle of your foot can give you insane relief. So I know a lot of you guys are doing lots of running at the moment, so it is really important that you're looking after your foot health. And a good benchmark for this is if you get out of bed in the morning and you feel the plantar muscles of your feet really tight and sore, this one's a great one for you to be doing. Obviously making sure that you're wearing the right shoes is also equally as important, making sure that you're looking after your arches, but doing this regularly, obviously shoes off, can keep your socks on, is a great way to be really, as I said, looking after your feet. If you look at your toes, you can see if you're starting to develop early signs of bunions as well. Bunions is where the bones in your foot start to shift and change. So being able to roll those muscles can provide a lot of relief to lengthen out the muscles that sit in the underside of your foot and takes the pressure off the toes. If you also really struggle in a lunge position, rolling out through the feet is a great way to actually increase the range, the flexion of your foot as well. So I'd probably do maybe a couple of minutes each side. And I like a tennis ball. I personally find the lacrosse balls or the massage balls that you get from an osteo or a physio just a little bit too brutal. So give your arches a good roll, take notice if there's any knots or any areas that are of particular concern. But yeah, make sure that you're doing this one pretty regularly. And also I love this one when I was pregnant as well. Your feet really do change quite considerably when you're pregnant. A lot of the muscles and joints, they become quite lax. And you'll find that just the increased weight of supporting the baby, this one's a lovely one. And if you can't convince your partner to give you a little massage, find yourself a tennis ball. So that's the feet. The next area I like to focus in on is your ITBs. Now, of course, you can do this one using a roller if you have one, but some of you guys don't have rollers. So finding a tennis ball, all I've done is I've lined up the tennis ball just to maybe 10-15 centimeters above my knee, and I'm just rolling it backwards and forwards, just swinging the hips front to back. And take notice of anything that feels particularly sore or tight. You can take the tennis ball a little bit lower, more towards the ligament that sits around the knee. So your ITB is a sheath that covers the muscle. It doesn't get a huge amount of blood flow, which is why we really need to look after it. If you're finding that you're getting any knee pain, that can be sometimes linked to tight ITBs. And again, if you're running or doing anything quite repetitive, lots of walking, your knee can sometimes, the ITB gets tight and then it starts to pull on the knee. So it is really important that you're keeping up your ITB release, myofascial release. And as I said, you can do this one with a roller, but I find a tennis ball can really sometimes get into that particular area as well. So I might spend 2-3 minutes on each side. So if you're doing it with me, let's change to the other side. Obviously my back is going to be to the camera. I'm going to give it a little bit of a roll out and take notice if one side feels worse than the other. I've noticed that my right knee at the moment is a little bit more twingy than the left. So I'm going to make sure that I give it quite a bit of love. You can hold the tennis ball in one spot if you find an area that's particularly sore and tight. and really press in there. Press and hold until you find that the pain starts to ease. So a common thing that people ask me is, should it feel sore? Well, no, it shouldn't feel sore. If it's sore, it means that you need to be doing this. And in terms of how much, maybe every second day is a good way to think about it. You are essentially sort of doing a little self-massage, so you don't want to go nuts on it. But doing it regularly is a great way to stay on top of how your body's moving and feeling. So the third area is your glutes. So where I like to place this is right to the side sort of quadrant of my glute, okay? But of course, some people might find that they develop tightness in different areas. Now you can do this one on a wall, like what I'm doing right now, or you can do it on the floor. The floor will be a little bit more brutal because you'll have your full body weight going down into the muscle. And essentially how the whole process works, this sort of self-massage, is you're deliberately applying pressure to the muscle to reduce blood supply, and then as you move the ball around, then you're increasing blood supply. So essentially what you're doing is you're encouraging the muscle to be flushing more blood in and around the area, which then helps to reduce any inflammation that's going on, and also helps to lengthen out those muscles again as well. So nice little trigger point work. So I'll show you what this looks like if you want to do this one on the ground. So you take the ball, you'll sit onto the ground, and you'll move your bum around. And if you're on the ground, you might find that you can also really get the ball into the insertion point of the hamstring, so where the hamstring connects up to the glute. And again, if you're doing lots of running, I'm sort of bad-mouthing running here, running's not bad, but you just need to really make sure that you're looking after your body. It's a very repetitive movement, so you need to be making sure that you're really thinking about how you're moving and being really mindful of how the muscles are responding. So yeah, if you're working a little bit lower, you can get more into the hamstring, which feels really, really nice. Good. Okay, the fourth one is back to the front of the body, and we're going to be releasing the pec minor. So the pec minor, if you feel where your clavicle is, your collarbone, and you walk your fingers down your collarbone, and just below it, that is your pec minor. Now the pec minor can get really, really tight from sitting, being rolled forward, and where you actually sometimes feel the pain if your pec minor is tight, sometimes it can radiate to the outside of your shoulder. So if you're feeling pain to the shoulder, sometimes it can be from the pec minor itself. So you want to find that little trigger point on your pec minor, press against a wall, pull your shoulder blades down and back. I'm feeling this already. And then we're moving our arm up and down a wall. So you can do this one in a doorway. Moving the arm, one, provides a great distraction, but two, it also really encourages you to find the point and encourages that muscle just to release just that little bit more. So again, apply pressure as much as you can handle. If it hurts, it means that you need to be doing this, okay? So it is normal, although not good, if it does hurt. Good, and then we're going to do the other side. So once again, walk your fingers down your clavicle, your collarbone, and find that point. And I'm going to be doing it this side, pressing in. And of course, you can do this one laying down as well. And really, you can spend as much time doing this stuff as you like. I'm doing maybe a minute or so each spot. Cool, and then the last spot, I'm gonna actually just show you more so on the ground. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the ball, and where we're gonna place it is we're gonna place it in between our shoulder blades, and we're gonna move our arm in and around as well. So, I'll get myself into position, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do with my arm. So I'm gonna put the ball down, sort of just to the right side of my vertebra, and then from there, I'm gonna open up the shoulder joint, and I'm gonna wiggle around to find a spot that, it's getting in. And the reason why I'm moving my arm is to open up the shoulder, to really expose that muscle. Oh, yes. And then I'm gonna move my arm in different planes. So I'm gonna take it across my body, above my body, and then overhead. And of course, hold it in one spot for a little bit. Move your arm. You might feel this one radiating, and then move the ball. So I'm gonna move the ball slightly a little higher. Across my body, shoulder blades open, up and around. Beautiful. I'm gonna do the other side because I'm doing this one with you, making the most of my cool down. So I'm gonna find the spot, there it is. Take the arm across the body, above the body, and around. And interestingly, this side doesn't feel quite as bad. Cool. And that feels so good. So, you know, it's great if you live with a massage therapist, but not all of us have that luxury. And then I'm actually going to show you a sixth exercise, and this one's more so for your lat and for teres minor. So with this one, find your wall again, and where you want to put the ball is you want to put the ball on the side of your shoulder blade. So, ball goes onto the wall, and then from there we roll ourselves down, and we're finding the point that feels super tight. And you might find your teres minor that'll feel like a little bit of a golf ball in there. You just want to press on that bad boy. And again, you can move your arm to really expose that area that's tight. Hello, lat. There she is. That's the point. And that feels so good. Let's flip it over to the other side, team. So find the spot. Move your arm if you need to. And interestingly, this side doesn't feel as bad, which is strange. So it's always interesting to find out which sides you might have tightness on. Let's just hold it in that one spot. Really get into that lat. For 3, 2, and 1. So there we have it, guys. 6 exercises you can easily do with a tennis ball. And of course you can use a proper myo ball or whatever you've got at home. A golf ball will work. But get it done. You'll feel